Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining, thanks for being here. Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you never miss a future video. If you've been here before, you probably know that I love salads. Poke around on my channel and you will find many recipes for delicious and healthy salads. And the one I'm going to share with you today is equally as good. Today I'm making my broccoli salad. Now you would think with a name like broccoli salad, it would be inherently healthy. I mean, it is full of broccoli, so you always have that. But if you look around at different recipes, many of them have the broccoli salad just coated in this really thick, creamy, sort of fat-laden dressing, and then it's also just filled with bacon and cheese, things that aren't inherently bad in small quantities, but when you're trying to eat healthy, that might not be the way you want to go. Now, if that's what it takes to get your family to eat broccoli, then by all means start out there. Eventually, you might want to lighten up your broccoli salad just a little bit, but still have a delicious filling salad, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Now, as you might guess, a recipe called broccoli salad is going to start with broccoli. Now, if you have just smaller heads of broccoli, you might want to do two. This is a pretty large one, so I'm just going to go with this one. I've rinsed it, let it sit to drain a little bit, and now I'm just going to chop it up. So you want it in fairly bite-sized pieces, whatever that means to you. And one thing to note before you start jumping in and making this recipe is just that you need to make it ahead. The salad tastes so much better if it's allowed to sit for a few hours before you eat it. So I'm actually making this in the evening with the plan of eating it tomorrow for dinner. I got rid of the big woody stem at the bottom, but I am still keeping some of these little stemmy pieces because they're still good. They taste good. They're nice and soft. No need to throw them away. And this is the worst part of making broccoli salad. It actually comes together pretty fast, other than the chopping of the broccoli. But I actually like chopping vegetables. I find it somewhat meditative. If you've looked at broccoli salad recipes, you may find some that actually call for blanching the broccoli first. I actually do not like that. To me, it makes the broccoli soft. The salad then to me doesn't stay like fresh long. It just, I don't know, even just a really quick blanch to me just ruins that whole crispness that I like of a fresh broccoli salad. However, if you struggle to digest raw broccoli, then maybe you want to try blanching it really quick. And if that's the case, I would leave the florets fairly large, drop them into boiling water just like really quick. I would drop them into the boiling water and then pretty much bring them right back out and put them in an ice bath to cool down and then chop it up from there. You don't want to overcook it. You still want it to be nice and crisp, but that would at least help. Some people don't digest raw veggies well, and you know, that's okay. I have my big bowl of broccoli. I'm going to add in some red onion. I usually use about a half a red onion. This is a little bit less because that's what I have. And I'm just cutting some slices, and then from there, turning them into small dices. Slices into dices. Yeah, that was a pretty big onion, so I think this amount of onion is going to be just fine. The other things I want to add are some dried cranberries. You could also use dried cherries. Sometimes I have dried cherries in our freezer if my husband dried some. Well, my husband dried some last year, but I think we've used them all, so I'm using dried cranberries, some roasted sunflower seeds, and then I also like to throw in some pepitas, which is just pumpkin seeds. You can do either one of these. The roasted sunflower seeds add a nice saltiness, a little salty bite, which I like, so I probably would never skip these. If you have pumpkin seeds, add them. If you don't, I wouldn't make a special trip to the store just to get them. And the quantity here is really going to depend on how much broccoli you started with, how big of a salad you're making. So I usually say start with about 1/4 cup. I'll go for a good 1/4 cup. And I would say 1/4 cup of a combination of these two, but I already can tell that I'm not going to like that. I'm going to want it more. So I'm going to say maybe a good 1/4 cup of the sunflower seeds and a scant 1/4 cup of the pepitas. We'll see how that looks when we stir it together. And then the cranberries, I don't know, 1/4 cup, 1/3 cup. Again, add some in, stir it around, see if it just looks like you want more. It also depends on how much you like the craisins. You could use raisins as well. I would probably use golden raisins if I was going to use raisins, but really, if I didn't have craisins and all I had was raisins, I would probably go to the store. Only because I'm not a huge raisin fan. Let's just stir this together and see how it looks. I do like enough stuff in it that, you know, it tastes yummy and interesting. Let's see, I think it looks pretty good. I might add just a little bit more of everything, just for good measure. I don't have a lot of craisins left in here, so I'm thinking I'll just finish the bag off. It was just a partial bag. And I'll do a few more of each of these. Now you can always serve it with sunflower seeds so people can scoop it onto their plate and top it off with a little bit more if they want them. Yeah, I think that looks really good. And then I'm just going to set this aside and work on the dressing. So we're going to make the dressing for this broccoli salad. And if you've watched my videos before, you probably know I don't do a lot of measuring, but today I'm going to measure a little bit. I'm going to start with some white wine vinegar. You could also use white balsamic. I'm going to do about 3 tablespoons, give or take. And then to this, I'm going to add something sweet, which is honey. Now, recently I did a video on my sort of 5 ingredient category formula for making salad dressing. And this dressing actually does use all 5 categories. So we have our acid. I'm adding in something sweet, which is my tablespoonful of honey. Stir that into the vinegar, let it dissolve. If you don't have honey or don't like honey, you could use a little white sugar here. That would be okay. And then we're going to go for flavor. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Not a lot. You can always salt and pepper the salad later if you feel you need to. But the big salad boost is going to be garlic. Now, I would normally use what I would say like just a small clove of garlic. I only have these large cloves, so I'm going to just not use it all. I don't want it to be too garlicky, so maybe like half a clove, half a big clove. I'm just going to mince that right in. flavor begin. We have the vinegar, the honey, salt, pepper, garlic, letting that all come together. Lots of flavor going on. And then I'm going to stir in a little bit of olive oil, probably about 2 tablespoons. As you see, I already sort of gave up my measuring. It didn't last long. And then to make it creamy, I'm just going to use some non-fat plain Greek yogurt. I like to use this a lot where other people might use mayo or even sour cream. I like Greek yogurt just a little bit better. I would say, I don't know, about 1/4 cup. We'll see how that looks. Blend that in. So it is creamy, but it's not like the heavy fat creamy that a lot of dressings have. So it's lighter, but still very flavorful. See how it looks? You can see like the olive oil sort of separates out a little bit. It's not staying well emulsified, but that's okay. Once we mix it around in the broccoli, it'll be fine. So we have our acid, we have our oil, we have our sweet, we have our flavor, and we have our creaminess. So all 5 ingredient categories are covered in this dressing. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description box below. I highly recommend you check it out. So now we're just going to combine these together. I don't know if I really need all of this dressing, and I don't want my broccoli to be soaked, so I'm going to just add like part of it, stir it around, see where we are. It will absorb in a little bit. I'm going to add, yeah, could probably add it all and it would probably be fine. Maybe I will. Now see, there's lots of yummy goodness in here that makes this delicious. So you will never miss the bacon and the cheese. But if you do, feel free to add them. It's not the end of the world. Just keep in mind, the more of that type of thing that you add, you might want to keep your serving size a little bit less. But again, it all depends on if you're trying to eat healthy because you're trying to lose weight or whether you're just trying to increase your veggies. The important thing is that you eat your veggies. So if you require bacon and cheese to eat your veggies, then like I said, by all means, add it. Think about adding in the veggies before cutting out anything else. Is it Chris Carr says, I believe she says, add before you subtract when it comes to healthy eating. So there it is. I'm just going to pop the lid on this, stick this in the fridge, and let it sit overnight, and we will eat this for dinner tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.